Bill, this morning we find Ronaldo to play in sixth European Championship, as there would also be something up for you also, where we find Mavericks big men gear up for challenge from touring Timberwolves, and there would be Djokovic backs Nadal for French Open title as Pochettino leaves Chelsea by mutual consent after one season in charge. What a swift divorce. But Leverkusen seek second trophy in Europa League final versus Atalanta, as there will be Rashford left out in the cold or rain of England's provisional Euro 2024 squad.
Or snow.
Or snow. Then Real and Germany midfielder Kroos to retire after Euro 24, as new Liverpool boss Slot admits he could not resist the lure of the club. And then Ronaldo is also in the news.
All right. So those are the stories from the USA all the way to football across Europe. So let's start from what's happening at the USA, because the finals of each conference have started. And so let's hear your thoughts on that.
Now, Daniel Gafford remembers facing Carl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, and company about 2 weeks before he was traded to Dallas Mavericks this season.
Yeah, so Gafford is one of the bigs that Dallas Mavericks have. Unfortunately, when you look at the size of both teams, so in the Western Conference Finals, remember the Minnesota Timberwolves knocked out defending champions Denver Nuggets. So it's Minnesota Timberwolves playing against the Dallas Mavericks. Game 1 is tonight. And Gafford is just thinking about the physicality, because let me tell you the truth, Denver Nuggets is a better team than the Wolves. However, the Wolves were a hungrier team than the Nuggets. You know, when you've arrived, there's a different level of hunger you feel. It's like what Pep Guardiola said, that he's going to have to think about whether he's staying or leaving, because he doesn't know how he can push himself to fight for something else after you won 6 of the last 7
Nothing
titles.
to fight for.
What do you want to prove again? So that's what usually happens. So Denver Nuggets came into this into the NBA championship knowing what to do, but also not having as much hunger. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they've not done anything. They've not won anything. I mean, the last time Minnesota Timberwolves were in the NBA finals, conference finals, was maybe about 20 years ago. And so there's nothing to live up to. Hungry boys hustling. And so they out hustled. That's what I'll call it, because they came from a 20 point deficit to win that game 7. So they out hustled the Denver Nuggets. That's why they're in the finals. But here the Dallas Mavericks are also like the Denver Nuggets. They've too, I mean, their journey has not been 20 years, but it's been a while. However, if you look at the size that they have on the Minnesota Timberwolves, you know, from Anthony Edwards to Rudy Gobert to Anthony Towns, those are big guys. You juxtapose that with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. It's just small boys. No. Look, when I'm looking at the physical matchup, and the way that the Timberwolves play, I'm tempted to say that this looks like Timberwolves is going to go all the way to the finals. And so the Dallas Mavericks are going to look for a way to compete against the Timberwolves physically. And I don't know that they can live up to that. And that's why I think that the Wolves will get to the final. However, we've seen game 1 of the Eastern Conference final. That will happen tonight. And it was Boston Celtics against Pacers. Look, I thought that the Celtics were going to completely sweep the Pacers.
Yeah.
It shocked me.
It shocked you.
Look, the Celtics started the game 12-0 run.
Yeah.
They called timeout. Pacers went back in. They fought their way back into this game. The first half ended 64-64. They came back at the start of the second half. The Celtics led by as much as 13 points this time. Last time it was 12. This time it was 13. The Pacers came back again and took the lead. In fact, the Pacers were winning this game with just 10 seconds left on the clock. But these guys with their let me call it rookie mistakes.
We saw everything turning around.
2 possessions of mistakes, and the game turned on its head. Eventually got to overtime, and then the Celtics won it. But the way it happened, what we thought was going to be easy for the Celtics to get, they had to fight to get to overtime. And that was when they were able to beat the Pacers. So the series is not going to be as easy as I thought it would be, but that was a good game. So it's a tough for my finals at the end of the day, I think, would be Celtics against Minnesota Timberwolves. How they will get there is what we are watching now.
All right, let's drift on to see what the clay surface is looking like somewhere in France now. But we understand Novak Djokovic on Tuesday said Rafael Nadal was his favorite to win the French Open despite the record 14-time champion struggling for fitness in the twilight of his career.
I don't know what Djokovic is trying to do. Is he trying to play mind games? Is he being funny? Everybody knows. Everybody and their friend knows that. In fact, everybody and their pet, friend is still a human being. Everybody and their pets know that Rafa Nadal is not the same. And so to expect that because he's won it 14 times, he's going to just come here and win it when guys are hustling again. The hunger is different. He's playing to see how he can finish out his career on his own terms, which is to play tennis till he leaves. The other guys are playing to make a name for themselves. You won 14. There's nothing you want to make. You're good. I'm trying to win 1 Grand Slam, and this is my opportunity. So Djokovic must be funny to say that Rafa Nadal is his favorite to win this offense. Even Djokovic will beat even Djokovic will beat Rafa Nadal silly today. If they give both of them rackets today and say, yeah, people should enter court and do something, he will beat him like he stole something.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he's trying to be funny. But again, maybe he was just trying to compliment Rafa Nadal, seeing that this was the last one. And when he came out to test the court, if you see people, might be like crusade. Because you know how everybody now knows that this is your farewell tour per se. So a lot of people are coming out to check out Rafa Nadal. And he's not, he's delivering. He's delivering because he trains hard, he tests hard, he gives in 110%. So they're really watching, but there's a lot of crowd following him now everywhere he goes.
But it's looking like his final crusade, to use your word. And when players come out of this, because I saw Serena tweeted something saying she's ready to hit some balls again. I don't know. Is there a second coming of Serena?
I don't know.
Because you mentioned Rafael now.
I don't know what Serena is trying to do. If she was, maybe she was. I mean, she had a baby, and sometimes most people don't start a lot of physical activity, till a certain period. Maybe she is now getting to where she can really physically exert herself to start hitting again. Maybe that's what she means. It's just the way it is. If she hasn't told us, if Serena doesn't officially get a wild card and go to a tournament, don't be assuming anything.
Okay, let's go over to Stamford Bridge and see the man who they bid farewell to. Mauricio Pochettino has left his job at Chelsea as Chelsea manager by mutual consent. The Premier League club announced on Tuesday ending the Argentine's reign at the club after just one query season, despite a late revival in their fortune.
Exactly, it is that late revival that is the shocker. Because I didn't think the new owners of Chelsea, Todd Bowley and the rest, would have that kind of decision making to say we are parting ways with Pochettino. I think they'd be like, oh, Pochettino, he's a great guy. He's found a way to get the team working. And he was able to get the team working, even if it was just the last few games, and they've been able to get a getting European sport, and they went from 10th to 6th. So let's see if he can continue the job. I honestly expected him to be there at least one more season. Imagine my shock yesterday
when the announcement broke.
Which announcement? First of all, it was the rumors. I was like, why do people always hear this kind of rumors? Because before the official Chelsea statement came out, people had already started saying it. News reporters had already started saying it. And the certain news reporters that when they say certain things, they're not just pulling it out of their ear. Something concrete has happened and they've gotten wind of it. And so it was shocking to me that, Todd Bowley would part ways with Mauricio Pochettino when it looked like he was getting the team together.
The fans don't want him.
When he was beginning to get the results together. Some fans want him. Some fans do. At the end of the day, fans want results, and when they start seeing results at the end of the season, they're like, maybe we should just give him one more try. Okay, all right. So let's hear from the fans. If you're a Chelsea fan, what are your thoughts about Mauricio Pochettino? Well, the club said they didn't sack him. They said they mutually parted ways. So
look at how they couch it, mutually parted
so what
ways.
are your thoughts on the mutually parting ways of Chelsea
well,
and Mauricio Pochettino? The numbers to send your thoughts to are
0809-444-0981 will be where we read your messages this morning. Don't forget, you can catch a live stream of the locker room this morning, even though it's rainy, to see Tega. And everyone
looking like an Eskimo.
Yes, that's what it is right now. So on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos, search for us, subscribe, and then leave a thumbs up there for us. Leave your comments. We'll pick them up shortly. I see messages. You don't need to ask even. AY is ready with the Pochettino issue already.
Let him just let's take his thoughts and then we'll go on a quick break.
And AY from Oniru says, Pochettino is a wise man. He saw an opening and decided to run away. Blood told himself, no, I will not be here next season. And it goes on laughing.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be taking your messages inside Smooth 98.1 FM. It is cold, yo. It is cold, though. Let me go and store outside.
Okay. Okay.
The estimates for the granite, the sand, iron rods, the concrete blocks, the cement, the...
Wait, engineer, what cement are you planning to use?
Oh, the normal cement, sir.
Huh? The normal cement?
Yes, sir.
You know the area is waterlogged and you say normal cement? Have you not heard of Water Shield? The new waterproof cement by Lafarge, designed to protect buildings from water damage and water damage to your property. If you're building in a waterlogged area, then your best bet is the new Water Shield cement by Lafarge.
We are back already. We are back. I think we need you now. Just come back, you know. Edu. Thank you.
External
just got barely 8 seconds.
It's so cold, people.
And water damage to your property.
They want to give me. They want to give me. I'm African for a reason.
That combination of radio and coffee.
It is still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Tega still here and lots of sports information to get across.
Lots of shivering.
Okay.
All right, so let's take some messages because we asked about thoughts on Mauricio Pochettino. So you take WhatsApp. Start with Mohammed and then I'll take YouTube.
YouTube, okay. Let's go with Mohammed's thoughts this morning. Mohammed says, Tega, praying to God that the Celtic and Mavericks make it to the finals. Celtic is my team, and Doncic, Curry are the best duo. These two teams would make sense to me if any one of them win.
I'm with you. I would have loved Luka Doncic to win, but the way I'm looking at those Timberwolves, they are very hungry.
And then I see a message coming in from Tayo saying, Chelsea, please, Pochettino, release Pochettino before Man United could address Ten Hag. Talk about standing on business and creating some chaos just for the fun of it. When everyone is talking about next season, then this. I wonder who will be bold enough to be hired as the next manager at Stamford.
So Thomas Tuchel is available. They should call him back.
I don't see these guys just cover me right now. Cruz says, Omatseye ordered hot pepper soup for Tega.
Thank you. Because he's number 6 is not telling him. Please, that's really Buku from Gate's message.
Buku from Gate's says, Chelsea doing their best to undermine Tega's prediction that Poch would be there next season. I hear Poch wanted to upgrade to manager, but Chelsea wanted him to remain as head coach. I don't know what Southgate is doing with 4 goalkeepers, but 6 midfielders, including Trent, and taking Luke Shaw, who is injured. Thank God Rashford was left out in the rain, right, or snow.
All right, so it's provisional. It's provisional list. So we'll get there. So let me take this message from Elka Derwa. He says, Todd Bowley will ruin the club. to the ground. Sorry, will run the club to the ground. How in God's name can he sack Poch at this time when the team is finally in cohesion? Having Americans in a football club is disastrous. I'm so angry. I told you some fans wanted him to stay. Pedro Pio says, we Chelsea fans initially called for Poch's sack, but he seemed to have turned things around. Everything finally coming together. Sacking him now is silly. Third, determined to finish the club. Pata pata is the pata pata that's getting to me. Let's talk about Patripiona also adds, forget that mutual consent story, Joe. What was sacked?
It was sacked, that's it.
All right, let's see. El says, I haven't seen any fan who is in support of the sack. It's a terrible decision and conclusion that American ownership of football club is nothing but a disaster. This will take Chelsea 3 seasons back. Then Discovery Media Crew says Pochettino's disengagement is more about him asking for more control and the owners not willing to give more control. One of such employment
of a set piece
of a
coach.
set pitch coach, which Pochettino doesn't want. Kosikol says this De Zerbi to Chelsea is like the worst kept secret. Didn't he just leave Brighton? Then Abiodun Obeshiso says this is going to all Chelsea fans. In Tyson Fury's voice. Happy New Year in May. All right, let's take some stories.
Let's go to Germany now, where Bayer Leverkusen had won only 2 major trophies in their 119-year history before this season. But on Wednesday, the newly crowned Bundesliga champions have the chance to claim a double when they face Atalanta in the Europa League final in Dublin.
And I like the way that Xabi Alonso stepped up and said, we're going to use our winning mentality. I like it. See, mentality is it. I'm going to use that winning mentality to push for it. But yes, I think everybody will be rooting once you see both teams line out in the Europa Champions League final. Once you see Atalanta step up against Bayern Leverkusen, I think everybody and their friend will be looking at Bayern Leverkusen. Remember, they haven't lost this season yet in any competition.
But they can use invincible too.
No, but they can. They're already invincible. So they finished the season invincible in Bundesliga. So England has their invincibles.
Okay.
Germany has their own invincibles.
All right.
But yeah, so he's going to continue, and I think with the way they play, they have endeared a lot of people to their side. I think Atalanta are the villains right now in this story. Yeah. They are the ones trying to stop Bayer Leverkusen from having a great season. I would say this for Alonso and his boys. Yes, the fact that they've been winning match after match means that they've not given up. They have a resilient spirit. They are resolute in the way they go about it. And that's how they're going to approach the game, with some flair and some doggedness. Atalanta, on the other hand, are a very stoic side and very difficult to go away. They can cede possession to you, but the little possession that they have, they can take advantage of it, and that's how they got here in the first place, especially completely outplaying Liverpool. So it's going to be a tough task for Bayer Leverkusen, and it's going to be interesting for the neutrals. But I do think that at least on the European scene, a lot of people will be shading this for a Bayern Leverkusen win. I don't think Atalanta is not reading any other script but to carry the cup. So let's see how it turns out.
For me, the joy for me is the Nigerian part of the story in Bayer. That's my only heart.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of Nigerians, will be supporting, because let me just tell you the truth there. I don't know a lot of footballers that I have camped on their page after a win or after a trophy, because of their comedy.
How this guy has made even the club has gotten over.
Even the club is benefiting from it. In fact, from the club social media owner, just be like, guy, take our social media and do what you want to do, because it's fantastic the way he's taking. Yeah. And the one I think the last tweet he put when they won the trophy is the one that it should be your mood for the rest of the year. If you like, give up. That's what he said. If you like, give up. He's threatening you. So I mean, a lot of Nigerians were looking to see him win another trophy, and would be happy to have that. But Atalanta, the way I'm looking at them, they're just like, people should continue dreaming. We are spoilers.
Yeah. Let's go over to England and see forward Marcus Rashford was the most high-profile omission as England manager Gareth Southgate named his provisional Euro 2024 squad on Tuesday, while there was also no place for experienced midfielder Jordan Henderson.
Well, I would say Jordan Henderson, for me, was the shocker, not because of his performance, but because for some reason, Southgate has been carrying Henderson on his hip. I was like, maybe he has something on you. That's why he keeps putting him. So for me not to see him means that Gareth Southgate is ready to go for these Euros. For Marcus Rashford, this should be his wake-up call. This is the guy that everybody was touting to fly high. He's going to be the next best thing. Oh, this one is Wayne Rooney, next Wayne Rooney. And he's looking more like Dele Alli, the way his career has just been nosediving. So he's not had a great season in Manchester United, and he'd been a little uppity about it, you know. Almost like, what did I do wrong? I'm earning 400,000 a week. I'm a good striker. It must be the bad coach. But you could tell when a coach, well, when a club is playing badly, but a player is still doing well.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford is not doing well in that club. He's not doing well for the club also. And this is his reality check. You didn't make the Euros. That's it. It's your reality. Even Grealish made the Euros. And Grealish played most of this season from the bench. You didn't make the Euros. This should be his wake-up call. So I'm not shocked he was missing from the list. But I'm interested to see how Gareth Southgate is going to take this team and cut down this team. Also, we'll be taking your thoughts on the England team. The number to send your messages to are
0809 44409 0809 444 9981. Let's read all the messages now. That's where it goes. Then make sure you leave the messages also on our YouTube platform, youtube.com/smooth 981 FM. Lagos is where we go. So let's go over now to Germany this morning, where it's also related to the Euros and a whole lot also. Let's see. Tony Cruz is said to be missing from that. 34-year-old will retire after this year's European Championship. The Real Madrid midfielder announced on Tuesday, adding that next month's championship final against Borussia Dortmund will be his last game for the Spanish side.
Interesting. And for me, this came out of nowhere. You know, he's been doing this. Let me sign one more year and see how it goes. But the way Tony Cruz is, he has a certain level of clarity that is quite different from many others. It's a self-awareness that's quite different from many others. And he said, you know what? I know I'm getting older. And so even if people have seen me play some brilliant football this season, in my body, I know I'm getting older. And I want you to remember me like this guy. This is the last memory I want you to have of me, as opposed to, you know, the guy that he's finished and he has to come from the bench. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to end his career on a high. And I like people that go out on their own terms. I remember when Zizou left football, he had 1 year left. The guy said, I'm done. And Zizou left like that. I was like, dude, why now? But you know, these things happen. So but Tony Cruz, fantastic one. If you follow this career from under 17, you are old like me. But that's the first news. The second news is that it's a fantastic career. It's a successful career with World Cup, with Euros, with the La Liga, with league trophies. So he's won season after season, time after time, and he's not just a member of the winning team, he's a key part of the winning team. So great one for him. But for Real Madrid, they're going to now have to find a way. I don't think they should necessarily look for a replacement, because there are not many footballers that have the same skill set, but they have Tchouaméni, they have Camavinga. They just have to rejig the way their midfield plays, and I think they'll be fine.
Let's go over now to Annie Slot. Will be said the chance to work at one of the world's biggest clubs was difficult to ignore after Liverpool confirmed on Monday that Feyenoord coach would be their new manager.
But they gave it to Xabi Alonso and he said he doesn't want. I think different people are lured by different things. But
Yes.
yes, if a Liverpool came for you, you'd say,
You stop everything you are doing and
you'd
go.
be like, I should move there. You want that on your CV.
Yes.
But it's a lot of pressure, to come into Liverpool and then try to take over from a manager. You have to understand, he was a manager that was not just successful with the club. He's a manager that was loved by the fans. That's the next level of replacement. So if Arne Slot comes in and the first 2 matches he's finding his feet, he will hear the mumblings from the gate. I think again, the Dutch league is great. It's a great build up. They give you your time to grow. And he succeeded at the Dutch league, but it's not the same competition. It's not the same level of competition. It's not the same intensity, and it's certainly not the same viewership or audience that is in the Premiership that you get at the Dutch league. The eyes on the Premiership are vicious and they're many. So
Unforgiving.
and they're unforgiving. So he has a lot to aspire to. So he should leave all this. I'm so happy to come to a big club. The pressure of a big club, you know how they say it, to whom much is given, much is expected. He has to hit the ground running. So his question is, how do I turn this team? Remember, Liverpool fell off towards the end of the season. Is how do I get this team, number one, back on track, and how do I start winning? And he has to start winning immediately. On that note, we can take let's just read all the messages that are coming in, because all I can just see here is green.
Yes. Let's go. Rotimi from Ikeja says, it is unforgivable to lose in such manner to Arsenal. The performance improvement was because the injury reduced. Where did this one come? Where? Okay.
Oh, he's talking about
if we have another injury crisis, Poch will be in same poor form. That's what Rotimi from Ikeja. So that's why he has to go. Egwono, just please. Just calm down. I see your message. It says, play Love is All Around Me by Wet. Anyway, thanks for the message. And then comes a message from Larry from the abroad saying, Todd actually wanted Posh to stay, but Egbali, who many do not know is the majority shareholder, wanted him to leave, hence the mutual consent, because there was no way forward. Posh wasn't sacked. That's why there is no strong contender to replace him. Guys, should please follow the news and not rumors or sensationalist sentiments. Regardless, his departure sets the club back now. Sad, sad, sad. That's from Larry from the abroad. Mohammed comes up and says Tega Posh has no winning mentality, like you mentioned. Alonso's statement, it shouldn't have taken him the whole season to create a winning team. Forget about injuries, which is part of the game. Chelsea made the best decision, removing the failure that was being backed by English pundits.
Mohammed, you cannot employ me. You will sack me the next day. Right.
And then Bolo on Rashford said, I'm glad Rashford wasn't taken. If he wants to redeem himself, he should surprise us by all against Man City on Saturday.
This is even good for Manchester United. Yes, you get an angry Rashford. Let's see.
Ibukun comes up. Tega, please do not put Wayne Rooney and Marcus in the same sentence. They are not even on the same football universe. Please tell Cruz to advise Casemiro. Ibukun from K2. And Charles Chidozie tells me here that, well, as a United fan, I love the fact that Rashford isn't going to the Euros. He literally spent more time partying at nightclubs than he did at Carrington this season. Therefore, he should sit and watch the tournament on TV. Sancho thought he was going to escape, but Southgate said, sorry, son, I see you too. You have been a bad boy. Final message, Tayo.
Tayo says, much respect to Cruz on his impending retirement, leaving the game at the loudest. Leaving when the game is at the loudest. I saw pictures of him and Chrysanthus Macaulay, and I thought to myself, not all fingers are equal. All the best, Cruz. Even some Ghanaians were also talking about the Ghanaian that was with Cruz at under 17, and he was like, I cannot tell you what happened to that guy's life. Yeah. So I'm guessing. Let's see some YouTube messages.
Oh, let's go. They're waiting already. So
let me just round up with a few YouTube messages. This is we've seen all these messages.
Abiodun's last message we've got here, we've seen all our YouTube.
This is okay. No, this is going to Abiodun Oboshiso says this is going out to all Chelsea fans in Tyson Fury's voice.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, May. That was the last message.
That was the last message.
All right. So thank you so much for tuning in to Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Thank you for joining us on the live stream on YouTube. Please remember to subscribe before you leave. Thank you for sending your messages on YouTube and on WhatsApp. So we'll meet again on Friday. Hopefully the sun will be shining. Good morning.